Have you ever felt invisible to the people you're attracted to? Like no matter what you do, you just can't get their interest or affection? Well, what if I told you there are secret psychological tactics that can make anyone start craving your attention and approval? Sounds crazy, but these mind tricks actually work by tapping into human nature. By the end of this, you'll know 10 insane but effective ways to become irresistible to anyone you want. Let's jump right in. Trick 1. The scarcity strategy. We always want what's hardest to get. It's basic human psychology. That's why creating a sense of scarcity around yourself works like magic. Don't be available 24/7 or respond instantly. Limit the time and attention you freely give. Act just slightly harder to reach. This makes people subconsciously want you more because your affection feels rarer and more coveted. It also challenges them to work harder to gain your interest. When you start using strategic unavailability, you'll notice people start putting in more effort to spend time with you and keep your focus on them. They'll rave about how busy and important you seem. Don't overdo it, but realize the less accessible you are, the more you'll pique their interests. Playing hard to get activates powerful intrinsic drives we all share as humans. There's an undeniable allure to pursuing someone whose attention feels scarce and hard-earned. It makes us want to chase and compete for that person's approval and validation. Use this mindset wisely, and you'll have anyone working overtime to gain a little more of your highly rationed affection and time. Trick 2. Bask in ambiguity. People are driven crazy by mixed signals and uncertainty. A little tactful ambiguity about your intentions can make you intriguing as heck. Don't always spell out exactly how you feel about them. Sprinkle in some hot and cold signals to keep them wondering where they stand. Smile at them one minute, then act a tad distant the next. This engages their competitive drive to figure you out and win you over. They'll find themselves obsessing about what you think of them. Use ambiguity as breadcrumbs, leading them down a trail of curiosity about you. The mystery will have them hooked. Keeping people a little off balance about your level of interest is like dangling a pre-made crush in front of their face. They'll be compelled to analyze every smile, frown, and ambiguous signal you give for deeper meaning. Did that wink mean you're flirting, or was it unintentional? This niggling uncertainty creates addictive tension that has them yearning for you to finally reveal your true feelings towards them. Trick 3. Bestow selective compliments. Compliments are powerful sources of validation that make people melt, but doling them out freely drains their impact. The trick is to be stingy yet surgical with your praise. Directly compliment only specific traits or accomplishments that you genuinely admire about them. Really mean it and detail exactly what impresses you. This makes your kudos feel incredibly weighty and earned. They'll be over the moon knowing you appreciate concrete facets of who they are. Just don't dilute the power by lauding every little thing about them. Judicious compliments make people feel truly seen and understood by you. Think about the last time someone paid you a very thoughtful, specific compliment about a skill or quality that's important to your self-esteem. Didn't it just light up your day and bond you to that person even more? Properly timed, well-articulated praise is a psychological love bomb that makes people feel insanely good about themselves. Use compliments strategically, but genuinely, and anyone will start glowing around you. Trick 4. Be hard to impress. Everyone wants to be recognized for their impressive qualities and achievements, but showing you're hard to impress can instantly elevate your appeal. No matter what someone does, maintain an unfazed, unshakable calm. Don't go overboard with enthusiasm about their latest success. Just respond with a casual, "That's cool, good for you" tone. This makes them ache for your validation even more. They'll be driven to work overtime trying to finally get a reaction out of you. Don't be rude, but aim for an aura of composure that says "impress me" without actually uttering those words. From an evolutionary psychology perspective, we're drawn towards people who are discerning and have high standards that aren't easily met. It makes us want to live up to their lofty expectations and earn their praise. Their approval feels immensely rewarding on a primal level, so the more poised and unfazed you can appear in the face of someone's accomplishments, the more highly they'll come to value your validation. Trick 5. Bait with temporary disinterest. As human beings, we crave approval and affection from others, and there's nothing quite like the sting of being rejected or disregarded by someone even briefly. That's why using small periods of disinterest can be so powerful for ramping up desire. For a day or two, be a little curter and more inattentive than usual towards the person you want pursuing you. Give shorter responses, seem distracted when they're around, maybe even subtly blow them off once, then revert back to your normal friendliness like nothing happened. This hot and cold act creates panic that they've lost you, and that fear of loss makes them appreciative when you return your attention to them again. It's psychological gunpowder injecting explosive tension into the dynamic that has them chasing the high of your reciprocation again. We all possess a deep-seated fear of rejection and abandonment that these mind games prey upon. When someone who is giving you affection suddenly seems to pull away, it stokes an instinctive panic to fight for their approval again. It's a cruel but effective psychological trick to reset the power dynamics and have them pining for your favor. Just be careful not to overdo this one. Trick 6. Leverage relatable flaws. While putting your best foot forward is wise, perfection isn't the ultimate draw. In fact, being too flawless and polished can make people feel inadequate and distant from you. What really builds connections is relatability through judicious revelation of harmless personal flaws or quirks. Was your kitchen a mess this morning? Got a silly habit or irrational fear? Reveal something that shows your humanity and makes you more three-dimensional. People love feeling like they can relate to your faults and imperfections as much as your strengths. Just don't lay out anything too heavy or serious to start. Think about people you look up to and admire. Don't you connect most with the quirky habits or funny stories that reveal their imperfect humanness? All of us have strange little flaws we try to downplay. But letting someone get a peek at those vulnerabilities goes a long way to lowering their guard and making them feel like you're a grounded, relatable person they can truly click with. Having small flaws peppered amongst your good qualities is like a psychological anchor that prevents people from putting you on an intimidating pedestal detached from reality. Used right, it makes you more approachable while still projecting an aspirational vibe. Trick 7. Master the fine art of mirroring. One of the most potent ways to subconsciously click with someone is through masterful mirroring of their actions, body language, and speech patterns. It creates an unconscious sense of rapport. If they lean in, you lean in. If they touch their hair, you mirror that motion soon after. Even subtly mimicking how they phrase things and say certain words solidifies the vibe you're both in sync. As social chameleons, we're hardwired to let our guards down and develop trust and affinity for those who mirror our behaviors. It disarms people and makes them feel bonded to you in a subliminal way. Have you ever met a charismatic person who just seemed to get you from the moment you started talking to them? It's likely because, without you consciously realizing it, they were smoothly mirroring your body language and speech patterns in a way that tricked your brain into thinking you clicked effortlessly. It's one of the most psychologically potent ways to hack into someone's sense of comfort and camaraderie with you. Trick 8. Use two-sided disclosure. Want to kick that bonding into hyperdrive? One of the most connecting actions is sharing imperfect or vulnerable personal details about yourself, as long as you offset it with a strength or accomplishment too. This two-sided disclosure both humanizes you while elevating your appeal. For example, you might say, I used to be painfully shy and awkward in school, but it motivated me to work hard on my social skills. I was able to really come out of my shell and become pretty outgoing over time. This balance of flaws and strengths dissolves people's tendencies to idealize or judge you. It fosters them having a well-rounded, trusting perspective towards you. Revelations that blend impressive talents with humanizing quirks and struggles engage people on multiple psychological levels. The vulnerability makes you feel familiar and relatable, dispelling intimidation, while the aspirational qualities give them something compelling and enviable about your character they're drawn towards. It's a potent 1-2 punch for amping up their affinity for you. Trick 9. The joy of joint accomplishments. Humans are tribal creatures who feel deeply connected to those they share accomplishments and hardships with. So find ways, however minor, to turn the person you want to impress into a teammate or partner who overcomes challenges alongside you. Try starting tiny jokes or games just between the two of you as inside experiences to bond over, or enlist their feedback and advice on a minor goal or activity you're working on. These kinds of collaborative experiences flood us with biochemical rewards in the brain that inspire feelings of loyalty, rapport, and even love towards that co-pilot. Use them as psychological glue. Nothing quite cements people's commitment to another person like being in the foxhole with them, weathering storms together toward a unified goal. Even if the journey you're bringing them along for is just a bit of fun and games, their neurochemicals don't realize it's not a matter of life or death importance. Their brain still releases powerful bonding compounds in response to you earning victories as a unit. This is survival instinct alchemy, turning elementary tasks into profound shared meaning. Put it to cunning use, fostering microbonds with anyone you hope to turn into a much closer friend, romantic partner, or companion. Trick 10. Master the art of storytelling. The human brain was built to be enthralled by rich, dynamic storytelling, so use this to your full advantage when meeting new people you want to hit it off with. Don't just plainly relate the events and facts about your job, relationships, or background. Turn each anecdote into an engrossing, descriptive, emotionally charged story packed with character voices, visual details, suspense, and even humor. Master this art of captivating personal narrative and people will be hanging on your every word, enthralled and immersed as if watching an exciting film or reading an enticing novel. This powerful form of intellectual engagement inspires them to feel an almost transcendent connection with you as the charismatic storyteller. Stories activate neural networks that transport people into a shared reality with you. While plain facts are digested through one part of the brain, evocative storytelling hijacks visual, auditory, and emotional processing to turn your words into an extra vivid mental movie. This is brain decking at its most psychologically seductive. If you have made it this far, let us know what you think in the comments section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.